I get overwhelmed so easily. My anxiety creeps inside of me, makes it hard to breathe. Thoughts come over me, feels like I'm somebody else.
Hello guys. This is the Orange Hokage here, and today, we are going to start a brand new series, What If Naruto Was Suicidal? Part 1. Make sure you check the description for the original creator's story, and now let's get right into the story. Sakura Haruna was enjoying her birthday party at her team's training field as everything was going great. There were only two problems: no Sasuke-kun and Naruto was here. I know that I sort of invited Naruto, thought Sakura as she showed off her new dress, but I really wanted Sasuke-kun to be here. Naruto held in his hands a small box that has been poorly wrapped, but despite its appearance, inside the box was the most expensive item Naruto has ever bought, a small bracelet with pictures of all of Team 7 in small individual frames, small gems intertwining beautifully, and small little trinkets that were fashioned to remind Sakura some of the best, yet scary, times as a team, and a small note that expressed his feelings. Okay Naruto thought to himself, you are giving your crush a really expensive bracelet, so don't mess this up, baka. Naruto shook as he walked towards Sakura, gift in hand, even though he has faced two scary as hell missing nins, a psychopathic pedophile snake Sannin twice, a bloodthirsty Gaara, and Tsunade after walking in on her at the hot springs by accident. Even he wasn't sure how he escaped alive, and yet, giving a girl that he has a huge crush on a small little gift made him deathly nervous. Hey SSS Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he approached the pinkette, but his insane good luck decided to turn on him as he tripped over a sleeping Shikamaru who happened to turn onto his side. Sakura watched in horror as Naruto was trying to catch his balance after tripping on something and juggling a small box, only to see him fall face first into her cake and breaking the table. Naruto slowly got to his knees and shook the frosting off his face and checked on the gift. Naruto smiled as the gift was safe, but his face turned to a look of horror when he saw Sakura look at him with uncontrollable anger and disgust. Naruto, said Sakura as she watched the blonde shake in fear. Haha, happy birthday. Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he slowly handed his crush the gift he got her. I'm very sorry about the cake. But I got you a present. Sakura picked up the box, giving a hateful glare. If you're there, Kami, thought Naruto as he held his breath, please don't let her be too upset. Unfortunately, Kami didn't answer his plea as Sakura threw the box to the ground and began to stomp on it. Everyone felt the earth shake and watched as the birthday girl threw a tantrum that even the nine-tailed demon fox would fear. How dare you ruin my birthday, said Sakura as she twisted her foot on the box, unknowingly twisting the expensive bracelet. You monster. Naruto felt his heart shatter as Sakura gave the gift one last violent stomp. Naruto didn't mind the villagers' hatred towards him as he was used to it, but Sakura was different. Sakura, pleaded Naruto as he tried to recover the gift. I'm really sorry Abo. Naruto never got finished as Sakura grabbed him by his jacket, dragged him to the side, and lifted him into the air. If I ever see you again, said Sakura as she cocked a fist back, you will regret ever being born. Everyone watched as Sakura gave Naruto a powerful punch that sent him flying into the air. Curious about what Naruto's gift to Sakura, Ino picked up the box and opened it. Hinata and Tenten went towards Ino and were shocked at what they saw, a custom-made bracelet with pictures of Team 7 and small trinkets attached to it and a torn noted. Hinata unfolded the noted and choked out a sob, drawing everyone's attention, including a now awakened Shikamaru. Don't bother with that, said Sakura as she dusted her hands, it's probably just ramen coupon that the baka wanted to give me. Hinata turned to face everyone and read the note aloud. Dear Sakura-chan, said Hinata as she tried to fight back the tears, I know you may not see me the same way as Sasuke, but please know this, I care a lot for you. I've faced Rouge ninjas and Orochimaru not just for my team, but for you. You are very pretty. No scratch that, you are as beautiful as the trees you share your name with. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't see the elegant pink leaves upon your head, as I have always been stunned by how they shine in the sun's rays. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I love you. Again, I know you may not see me like you do that, but I love you and I sometimes wish you would give me at least one chance to be your Naruto-kun. If you do. At least I know that I at least had a chance. Love, Naruto. P.S. I had Ruka-sensei help write this for me. I wanted to make this note look nice for you. After folding the letter back, Hinata glared at Sakura before running off the field crying. This bracelet is beautiful, said Ino as she delicately tried to untwist the damaged piece of jewelry. He had to have stave off ramen for weeks just to get this done. Tenten remembered seeing the hurt on Naruto's face before Sakura had launched him away from the party. I hope that cake was worth it, said Choji as he walked away as Neji, Kiba, and Akamaru, and Kira and I followed in a hurry to check on Hinata and Naruto. I know Naruto can be troublesome at times, said Shikamaru as he sent a threatening glare towards Sakura, but even he didn't deserve that from the likes of you. Shikamaru ran towards the direction that Naruto flew to with Asuma following him. How could you be so unyouthful, said Lee with his own heart broken, especially towards your own teammate who would have gladly sacrificed his life for you. Lee ran away in tears with Gai following with disappointment in his face. Ino handed Tenten the bracelet as both girls ran off the field in hopes of finding Naruto. Please be alright, Tenten thought as tears fell from her face. I don't want to see you hurt anymore. Sakura stood alone in the field, thinking about what Naruto's note. How can I love him, said Sakura with disbelief in her voice. He probably made that stuff up just to impress me. Kakashi soon appeared and observed the place. Did I miss something? Asked the masked Jonin as he saw the state the cake was in. I'm guessing that cake is off the menu. Sakura let out a sigh and said, everyone left after I kicked that little monster out of the party. Kakashi's visible eye whitened as to whom she was referring to. Please tell me you really didn't call him that, said Kakashi with a hopeful tone in his voice. A nod from the rosette confirmed his fears. I need to get the Hokage and quick, said Kakashi as he ran off to find Tsunade. Naruto just lay in the small crater his fall had made after flying across the village in the air. Naruto didn't care that he wasn't physically dead, but he was emotionally dead. Why? Asked Naruto as tears poured from his face. Why did she have to do that? Naruto pushed himself up into a sitting position and then took a kunai out from his weapon pouch. Kit, just let go of her, said the nine-tailed fox as it watched from Naruto's mind. I know rejection hurts, but don't do this. Naruto pointed the sharp tip of the kunai towards his stomach and said, she didn't just reject me, Kyuubi, she showed me that she was just like the villagers. The demon fox tried to argue, but Naruto had already begun stabbing his stomach multiple times before pointed the bloodied weapon towards his heart. Goodbye world, said Naruto as tears continued to fall from his face. Hello hell. Naruto rammed the kunai into his chest, only to freeze before the blade's tip got to his jacket. What the hell were you doing? Demanded Shikamaru. Naruto struggled to finish what he had started, but he soon heard everyone's footsteps. Why are you here? Asked Naruto with his voice painfully cracked. I'm nothing but a monster. Even though Shikamaru couldn't see Naruto, he saw the horrified look on Neji's face and stood up and walked from his position from behind the tree. Naruto was forced to mimic Shikamaru's actions and saw the horrified look on everyone's face as they saw the blood pouring from his stomach. Naruto couldn't do a thing as his world became dark after feeling something hit the back of his head. Sakura, Rikotai, how could you make me so cruel to Naruto? Rikotai, have you actually thanked Naruto for helping you? Sakura, no. Rikotai, have you ever thought of at least taking up on his offers for a date? Sakura, no. Rikotai, have you once thought of Naruto before the Chunin exams? Sakura. Rikotai, I rest my case. Naruto woke up to see that it was nighttime and he was in the hospital, strapped to the bed. Why does Kami hate me? Said Naruto as tears formed in his eyes. Even the Shinigami mocks me. Naruto laid in his bed awake until his fatigue gently put him to sleep, not knowing about the person watching over him. I wish fate was never this cruel, whispered Neji as he watched Naruto sleep in the case Naruto would try and break his bindings, even towards someone like you. The next morning, Sakura was walking down the street in hopes of apologizing to everyone about how she behaved. She never found anyone, not even Naruto, but she didn't want to apologize to him yet as she was still hurt by what he did at her party. I wonder where everyone could be? Sakura asked herself, not knowing about the real damage that was done. Sakura decided to walk in a jewelry store in hopes of finding Ino, but she only found the store owner looking over some rings. Morning Sakura, said the elderly man, how is your morning? Sakura has known the store owner as he was a kind man, who was once a ninja but he suffered an injury that caused him his ninja career. I'm alright Jin, said Sakura as she looked at some of the rings. I've been trying to find some of my friends. I kind of acted like a brat at my party. That Naruto can be a handful from what Tuki and Ruka told me, said Jin as he laughed at some of the pranks he had seen Naruto pull off. I take it you like the bracelet he got you for your birthday yesterday? Sakura froze and stared at the retired ninja in disbelief. Bracelet? Sakura asked with hopes that she misheard the store owner. Yes, it was a custom-made bracelet that had photos of your team and small trinkets that reminded Naruto of everything that has happened, answered Jin. I've even wondered how he got the money before I learned from Tuki that Naruto took on so many solo D-rank missions and ate at Ichiraku's less. That bracelet was really expensive, but I was happy to make it for him, especially knowing how hard he fights for you. Sakura's heart dropped at what she had heard. Jin saw the look on Sakura's face and asked, please tell me you didn't hurt him too bad, did you? Sakura told Jin what had happened, and before she knew it, the retired ninja was chasing her out of the store with a broom. Get out! Get out! Yelled Jin as he swatted Sakura, forcing her into the street. How dare you hurt someone like, and just for a cake? Sakura wasn't sure about what to say. I didn't know about, said Sakura as she saw Jin pull out his tanto. I'm sorry, said Jin as he pointed the tip of the short blade towards the rosette, but unless Naruto is better, you are not allowed in my store. Sakura watched Jin slam the door in her direction, shocked at what had happened. Sakura continued down the streets until she found the Yamanaka flower shop and entered. She didn't find anyone at the counter or about the store, but she heard voices from the back. She carefully walked and saw Ino and her father talking with Inoishi's father having a grim look on his face. He's emotionally unstable, said Inoishi as he rubbed his face. He's got quite a mouth on him, but everyone is thankful that he was bound to the bed and no one had their weapons with them. Ino looked at a bracelet in her hand and asked, is he really that bad? Inoishi let out a long sigh. I've even risked going inside his mind and saw the shape he was in, said Inoishi before he saw Sakura. I'm sorry, but can I help you? Ino turned around and saw the last person she wanted to see at the moment. I'm sorry for eavesdropping, said Sakura, but I wanted to apologize about my behavior. Inoishi quickly stepped in before something bad became worse and said, well, Ino told me you were acting like a little brat, but most girls do kind of act like that on their special days. Ino wanted to argue, but she knew that her father wanted to avoid talking about Naruto. I'm sure that Lady Tsunade can help whoever is in that condition, said Sakura before Ino got in her face. Daddy only told me this as I'm a member of a ninja clan who deal with people's minds, said Ino. I may be a gossip, but I at least respect some people. Ino quickly stormed out the store after Sakura noticed the dark circles in the blonde's eyes. What happened? Sakura had asked herself before she left the shop. Kakashi walked in the hallway of the hospital and saw Ibiki at a peculiar door with special seals on it. How is he doing? Kakashi asked the interrogation specialist. The kid's got quite a mouth, but then again, I have never seen someone as broken as he is at that age, said Ibiki as he took a quick glance at the door. Inoishi even risked going inside his mind, but I'm not sure if it made the situation worse or not, what with how the boy acted. Damn it, thought Kakashi as he knew how fragile Naruto really was. Why did you have to do this, Sakura? Thank you, Ibiki, said Kakashi. May I see how he's doing? I'm sorry, said Ibiki as he widened his shoulder in a threatening manner, but until I get word from the Hokage herself, Naruto Uzumaki is not supposed to have any visitors other than Shizune, Inoishi, and the Hokage herself. Ibiki saw the solemn look on Kakashi and then said, we all wish we could do something to help him, but at the moment, he is still emotionally unstable and we can't risk him trying that again. Ibiki can clearly remember Naruto lashing out at Enko really bad that even Team Gay had problems holding her down. Then Naruto lashed out towards Tsunade saying that she should have went with Orochimaru and have sex with her dead boyfriend. Naruto even had the gall to bring up Tsunade's age and how she can be depressing and shameful. Tsunade knew that Naruto didn't mean any of it as it was a ploy to get someone to kill him, but after she left the room, Tsunade couldn't help but cry at what had happened to the person she views as a little brother. Ino walked in her favorite jewelry store and saw Jin working at the counter, giving her that suspicious look he gives to would-be thieves. I'm here for a repair, Jin, said Ino as she set an all-too-familiar bracelet on the counter. Me and a couple of others that Naruto trusts are going to hold on to it for a while. Jin picked up the bracelet and observed the damages. Aside from the twists in it, said Jin as he delicately worked the twists out, most of the gems are cracked or missing. I'll have to replace both the frames and the pictures, and a couple of the trinkets will also need fixed, if not replaced. Ino was glad that it was salvageable, knowing that it would be expensive to fix, but it eased her heart a bit. Only thing is that I won't be able to replace the gems until the end of the month, but if I'm lucky, a week from now, said Jin. Don't worry, I'll get it fixed. For Naruto. Ino smiled as she left a piece of paper on the counter and walked out the store. Jin took a look at the paper and said, "Thank you girls. That boy really needs some help." Sakura knocked on the door to Tsunade's office, hoping to at least find Naruto. "Come in," said Tsunade, and when Sakura opened the door, the Rosette was surprised by the lack of alcohol in the air. "Lady Tsunade," asked Sakura, a bit wary of what was going on, "have you seen Naruto? I can't seem to find him and I wanted to apologize for what I did yesterday. You know where I can find him?" Tsunade looked at Sakura with red puffy eyes and said, "I'm sorry to say that Naruto won't be seeing anyone for a while," said Tsunade. "He's hurt far worse than I was when I saw him and we're afraid of what might happen." "What happened?" asked Sakura, concerned for her teammate. "Is there something I can do?" Tsunade let out a pained sigh. "I'm sorry to say," said Tsunade as she stared out the window, "but if you were there, Naruto's condition would only get worse and I don't want a repeat of what had happened." Sakura was scared now. What had happened to Naruto that no one was allowed to see him, not even his own teammate? "Please," begged Sakura, "if you tell me what's wrong with him, maybe I can." Sakura was surprised as Tsunade slammed her hand on the desk and rose from her seat. "No one is allowed to see Naruto because he is emotionally unstable and it all because of you," yelled Tsunade as tears formed on her face. "If you hadn't hurt him the way you did, then he wouldn't have tried to kill himself or be an emotional wreck. He lashes out painful and degrading insults in hopes someone would lose it and kill him. He even had the gall to say things to me that would even make the Kyuubi hang his head in shame." Tsunade sat down as she heaved with each sob as Sakura paled at the damage she caused Naruto. "Anbu!" cried Tsunade, and two masked shinobi entered beside Sakura. "Take Sakura home and don't let her anywhere near Naruto until I say so. Got it?" Both Anbu members grabbed Sakura and flashed away with the Rosette in tow. Seeing that she was alone, Tsunade dropped a piece of the genjutsu she always had on and studied her withered hand. "I know he's not in his right mind," thought Tsunade as she reapplied the genjutsu, "but why did he have to say all those things?" Kaizashi and Mebuyuki were suddenly surprised at the sight of Anbu in their home with Sakura. "Is there a problem?" asked Kaizashi. "Yes," said the Anbu wearing a cat mask, "the Hokage has asked us to keep an eye on Sakura Haruno until further noted. She will be allowed to perform her shinobi duties, but she will be under our supervision." Mebuyuki then decided to ask, "Has our baby girl been involved in a terrible incident?" The other Anbu member, wearing a boar mask, said, "That is classified information." At the hospital, Ino, Ten, and Hinata were blushing furiously as they heard Naruto's vicious lashings towards Inoishi. "Naruto sure has quite the vocabulary," said Ten as she tried to recall some of the words Naruto had used. "I'm kind of glad that Naruto isn't allowed any guests until this part has settled down." Ino nodded as well as Hinata, both trying to calm themselves down to keep from crying. "I never knew he was this broken," said Ino. "Then again, after all that he's been through, I wonder how he kept himself from breaking much sooner." All three girls were now wondering about the poor blonde strapped to the bed for his own protection with one thought in their minds. "What can I do to help you, Naruto?" Inoishi was sitting back after Naruto's latest vicious rant about Ino and how she has an entire fan club that were willing to throw their lives away just for a person who doesn't care for them. Inoishi's parental instincts wanted to strangle the blonde for saying such vulgar thing about Ino, but his doctor side calmed him down, reminding the father that Naruto is just going through emotional turmoil and isn't in his right mind. "All right Naruto," said Inoishi as ran his hand across his brow, "can you tell me about how you feel about Sasuke?" The visible shaking and look of pure hate on Naruto's face showed Inoishi that he had just set off a huge bomb. "I'll tell you," said Naruto as his eyes were blinking red and blue. "I'll tell you what I think about that prick." "Oh boy," Inoishi thought as he knew this was going to be bad. "I hope to Kami that Ino doesn't hear this." "Sasuke Uchiha," said Naruto, "is nothing but a motherfucking asshole of a prick. He goes around saying that he is an avenger because his own brother slaughtered the Uchiha clan and how he has to become powerful enough to kill Itachi, but in reality he is nothing but a big fucking crybaby who wants his mommy to say comforting words to him. That asshole should consider himself lucky to even know and remember his parents, while I don't even have a fucking cousin. I sometime wish that I have a clan that was slaughtered by a relative so that I can remember them. Naruto stopped for a moment to catch his breath while the Yamanaka before him took notes. Another thing about Sasuke, said Naruto as he continued his rant, is that he is treated like this damned village's messiah while I'm the pariah. Sasuke gets everything, private teachers, huge discounts, a fan club. Everything, all hands to him on a silver platter. I'd bet my house saying that the fucker has his own fuck club if he didn't ignore all of those bitches following him like he was a god. And what do I get? What does the village pariah get? Inoishi quickly prepared himself for what was next. Shit, said Naruto as tears slowly fell from his face. I get nothing but fucking shit. Glares and insults are nothing compared to what everyone does to me. I get beaten up by villagers and shinobi alike, both before and after I graduated from the academy, and those special days that everyone cares so fucking much about. Valentine ''s. I get raped and told how no one would ever show me a shred of love. Christmas. I lose my home and forced to live on the cold streets or even burn at the cross with all my gifts from those who do care about me get destroyed. My birthday. I pray every year on my birthday that I would die. My apartment gets broken into, those villagers and hateful shinobi rape me in my home, drag me to somewhere no one will follow them and play kick the fox or pin the kunai on the fox, and finally they stick me in a wooden statue of a fox and burn it with me inside, saying that the fourth would be so proud of them for finishing the job and Hokage would praise them for slaying a demon. He had to keep himself from vomiting at the images Naruto had told him. If those bastards knew, the Yamanaka thought as he remembered seeing Naruto with the third Hokage all bandaged up and curled into a ball. Kami damn them all. I just want to die now, said Naruto with his voice now strained. I did so much for Sakura. That bitch. And with what she said. I just want to die now. Inoishi knew it was a long shot, but he needed to snap Naruto out of this stage of his depression. Naruto, said Inoishi as he got a glass of water and a straw, there is someone who truly loves you. I'm not meaning how Tsunade and Ruka love you as a member of their family, but love you as in that they will sacrifice everything just to be with you. Inoishi saw Naruto raise an eyebrow in disbelief, but the boy's eyes shone with hopeful curiosity. I'll give you a hint, said Inoishi as he handed the glass of water to Naruto. She's a Hyuga. After getting a drink, Naruto asked, Hinata? Inoishi was surprised that Naruto got it right, but decided to keep him guessing. Who said it was Hinata? Said Inoishi as he set the water aside. I'm going to let you get some rest, but you are loved. Naruto, as for that girl I mentioned, she wouldn't give Sasuke another look as her eyes are for you. Naruto watched Inoishi leave the room and was thrown into his own thoughts. Someone loves me like that? Naruto asked himself before another thought entered his mind. Maybe it's just a lie to make me feel better. A roar echoed in his mind as Naruto heard the nine-tailed fox slam its hand. It's not a lie, said the demon fox as even he knew who it was. She loves you with all her heart and, even though it's cheesy, she sees you as her knight in shining armor. She probably wouldn't give two shits about the Uchiha. Hell, she would even make it a habit of kicking the brat in the balls just to prove her point that she would never love a guy like him. Naruto smiled, and even though it was a demon telling him this, it was right, there was someone who loved him like that. Thank you, said Naruto as he finally got through one of the most painful parts of his treatments. Kakashi found himself rubbing Inoishi's back as the Yamanaka let loose his stomach contents into the toilet. Ino, Ten, and Hinata weren't doing so well themselves as retching sounds can be heard from the other side. I hope you get better, Naruto, thought the silver-haired Jonin as more sounds of sickness echoed in the bathroom. Sensei would kill me for failing you like this. No one ever noticed the spirit outside the hospital window of Naruto's room floating outside. Please hang in there, Naruto, said the spirit as it floated away. You are loved more than you think. Hinata, Ino, and Tenten will help Naruto with his recovery, but Hinata will have a much bigger role. Sakura will have an epiphany about Naruto's life and what would happen if he succeeded. It has been 3 days and thankfully, Naruto had calmed down enough to lash out at everyone and have a few guests. The only thing was that anyone who visits Naruto has to go through a security check just to get in, so that somehow word had gotten out about Naruto's condition. Still, anyone who visits wouldn't be able to get much talking done as the blonde would either stay quiet or just barely talk. He was just dead. The first word that Naruto would only say before falling to silence was sorry. Everyone knew Naruto wasn't in his right mind when he said all that he said, but it still hurt. Naruto needed all the help he can get, and everyone was doing everything to help. Everyone but Sakura. The past 3 days weren't the best days for Sakura as she was able to find her friends, but they would hardly talk to her or just ignore her completely. She couldn't even go to a Chiraku without getting dark glares from the owners. She couldn't do much as Anbu was watching her and providing medical treatment for Sakura instead of taking her to a hospital, although most injuries were never that serious. It was then that Sakura saw how dead the village was without Naruto, as if some strange force had thrown her into a world where Naruto was never born. Sakura has seen Hinata multiple times at the hospital, but when the Rosette would try talking to her, Hinata would threaten her to leave, saying that Sakura would be the next person in the intensive care unit. Either that or Sakura would never be able to have children for the rest of her life. Hinata has changed since Naruto was put in the hospital. Sakura entered the front door of her home and saw her parents there, giving her that "you are in deep shit" look. "Sit," said Kaizashi as he pointed to the couch. Sakura quietly obeyed as watched her parents sit in the chairs that were placed in front of the couch. The whole scene was like an interrogation room for teens who stepped over their boundary lines one too many times. "Sakura Haruno," said Mebuyuki as venom echoed from her throat, causing her daughter to stiffen, "do you know why we are here like this?" Sakura's blank stare gave them their answer as it showed fear and confusion. "We heard about what you did to Naruto," said Kaizashi with disappointment, "and what you did was downright vile." Sakura was about to argue, but her mother stopped her. "You're smarter than how you acted at your birthday party," Mebuyuki said, doing something like that over a cake and towards Naruto too. Sakura did admit that what she did was a bit outrageous, but Naruto wouldn't try to kill himself just because she kicked him out of her party, right? "I have been trying to talk to Naruto so I could apologize," said Sakura as she tried to defend herself. "But I can't get to him and no one will help me. Even Anbu refuses to let me go to the hospital for a dislocated shoulder." Kaizashi let out a troubled sigh. "Naruto is in the hospital because he tried to kill himself and he is now emotionally unstable," said Kaizashi as he tightened his grip on the chair. "I've heard that Naruto was lashing out at people and saying things that even Genshinists would be ashamed of. For Kami's sake, he even lashed out that violently with Lady Tsunade." "We knew Naruto was a troublemaker," said Mebuyuki as she tried to calm her husband down, "but then we realized the truth. Naruto was a troublemaker because he wanted attention, he lacked the love and comfort of a family." Sakura watched as her parents went from being pissed at her to being depressed about Naruto. "I still remember the time I saw him eating out of a garbage can outside of a restaurant," said Kaizashi as he ran his hand down his face. "I tried to give him some food, but he just looked at me with fear in his eyes like I caught him committing a murder and he ran away." Sakura was dumbfounded and slightly sickened. "Naruto eating out of the garbage? I remember when you told me that," said Mebuyuki. "Wasn't he 7 or 8 years old back then?" Another sigh was heard, signaling another bad memory. "I don't even think Naruto even had a birthday where he wasn't either beaten to a bloody pulp, burned at the stake, tortured, or even raped by the very villagers that live here," said Mebuyuki as small tears fell from her eyes, "all because he was what they believe to be a monster, a demon that deserves to die." Nausea soon took control as Sakura ran towards the bathroom and stuck her head in the toilet as her stomach couldn't handle the guilt. After the second wave of vomit entered the toilet, Sakura then remembered what she had said to Naruto, causing another wave of puke to enter the toilet. Sakura flushed the toilet to avoid it overflowing as she began to think to herself. What did Naruto do to deserve a life? Sakura thought to herself as she tried to control her nausea, "Dear Kami, what happened to Naruto?" Sakura flung her head into the toilet as nausea won yet another round. "Simple, dumbass," said inner Sakura as even she hated what Sakura had done. "Both you and this village emotionally killed Naruto and maybe even mentally as well." Another wave of vomit came out as inner Sakura replayed the memory of the party again. "It's amazing that Naruto never turned out like how that Gaara kid was with all the shit Naruto had to go through," said inner Sakura as Sakura flushed the toilet again. "And what you've done before all this was not just adding salt, but burning metal to already festering wounds." Sakura remembered how whenever Naruto annoyed her and belittled Sasuke, she would punch him in the face really hard, not knowing of the true pain Naruto was in. "One little date wasn't going to kill you," inner Sakura continued. "Hell, it didn't have to be a date, just a date between friends. I mean, I wasn't sure what he planned, but one little date wouldn't have hurt." Sakura didn't know what to thinking anymore. Had she been killing Naruto emotionally instead of seeing past her selfish desires for a boy who cares nothing about her? Kaizashi and Mebuyuki heard Sakura in the bathroom and sighed. "She's talking to herself, isn't she?" said Mebuyuki. Kaizashi nodded, knowing that his daughter had inherited his odd quirk of having an inner self. "I just hope she does the right thing," Kaizashi said with a grim look on his face. "I'm not sure if I can live with the fact that my daughter had killed the son," said inner Kaizashi in a depressed tone. At the hospital, Inoishi was glad that Naruto has calmed down, but they weren't out of the woods just yet. Naruto may have calmed down, but he could still be suicidal and very much in danger. "Okay Naruto," said Inoishi as he prepared himself to deal with a long exercise, "I'm going to say one word and I want you to say the first thing that enters your mind. Give me a nod when you are ready." Naruto looked at his therapist and nodded. Toy. Broken. Home. Demolished. Friends. Trust. Girls. Them. Shikamaru. Leader. Kakashi. Hypocrite. Fox. Demon. Love. Pain. Lee. Youth. Tsunade. Ba-chan. Hinata. Fever. Sakura. Sakura? Inoishi repeated himself and got the same unresponsive answer. Sakura would be considered taboo for a while, Inoishi thought to himself before he decided to say one final word, Naruto. Monster. Rikotai, poor Naruto. Hinata, crying a river of tears. Sakura, I never realized Naruto had that bad of a life. Hinata juking Sakura in the waist and runs off crying. Sakura, right ... and ... the ... baby maker. Rikotai, saw that coming. Naruto watched as the other members of the Konoha 12, minus Sakura, visit him and bring him flowers and talked to him. Although everyone was both surprised and wary when Sasuke showed up, as Naruto disliked the Uchiha. Naruto did show signs of going back into what Inoishi called his rage phase, but things quickly calmed down when Sasuke admitted that he was sick during the incident and had no clue about everything. Still, that didn't mean Naruto wouldn't blow up at the sight or thought of Sasuke. Right now, Sasuke was taking a vicious lashing from Naruto as each sentence felt worse with each one. "You should consider yourself fucking lucky that you had a family," yelled Naruto as Sasuke stood in front of the bed, taking each lash that the blonde before him threw. "I have no one ... one relative alive. I'm the last Uzumaki in the village, and if I died ... no one would fucking care. I have nothing special worth saving for this fucking village. No special eyes, no clan specialty ... fucking nothing." Sasuke watched Naruto continue his lashing and each one hurt worse than the damn curse mark of his neck. Sasuke would never admit it, but he liked Naruto as a friend. Sasuke liked how Naruto somehow shone hope against all odds, and it was those very eyes that made him shield Naruto from certain death, sort of, back during the wave mission. The amount of hope Naruto shone was as hypnotic as the Sharingan, as it had even stopped Gaara from completely destroying Konoha. He had even seen those eyes, like Kurenai-sensei's, but more evil. Sasuke had thought that Naruto did have some sort of Kekkei Genkai, as no one person has that much chakra to create a small platoon of shadow clones and then summon a boss summon like Gamabunta. Maybe Naruto's stubbornness was also a part of that unique power. Everyone was snapped out of their daze at the sound of one of the bindings breaking. Thinking quickly, Inoishi used a jutsu to knock Naruto out before more damage could be done. Everyone saw the broken binding and the dent on the bed's railings as Tsunade examined Naruto's now broken wrist. Everyone decided to leave as Naruto now needed even more time to himself after that. 3 hours had passed since the whole incident at the hospital, as Shikamaru was lying on the grass watching the dark clouds go by as Asuma was training Choji and Ino. Troublesome, thought the Chunin as the ominous clouds rolled by. If I didn't know any better, Sakura had successfully killed the sun. Asuma saw the look on Shikamaru's face and he could easily tell if the boy was not his usual self. The bearded Jonin was silently praying that Naruto would get better quickly. Everything just seemed so dull without hearing about Naruto's latest prank or how negative the village seemed. Please get better, Naruto, thought Asuma as he thought of his nephew. Konohamaru misses you and this place just seems so dead without you. Sakura was walking in the streets when she saw Sasuke walking by. Sasuke-kun, said Sakura as she ran towards the Uchiha, did you hear about Naruto? Sasuke saw the glistening of sadness in Sakura's eyes and said, "Yeah. I gave him a visit when he was allowed now. That was a bad choice in my part." Sakura was now confused, happy that Sasuke did talk to her, but confused. Sasuke told Sakura what had happened as well as what Naruto had told him, and the Rosette was shocked at what she heard. Naruto never had a family, Sakura thought as she remembered the blonde being an orphan, and he feel like that no one would ever truly cared if he died. Sakura remembered how Naruto tapped into a strange power back during the wave mission and how Sasuke told her that it was Naruto that had defeated Gaara. "You do have something to give to this village," Sakura thought as tears slowly fell from her face. Hope. Sakura left towards home, not knowing about the spirit watching her. "It's time," said the spirit as it and 3 other spirits joined it in the pursuit of Sakura. Tenten was at the jewelry store waiting to see Jin's progress on the bracelet. Jin has made some great progress as he was able to repair most of the damages, but the gems still needed to be replaced. The picture frames were repaired, but they were left blank thinking Naruto would want different pictures in them. Hinata soon entered and told Tenten what had happened. "Damn it," said Tenten as she punched a wall, "he was making such great progress too." Jin came out from his workshop with the bracelet in hand and said, "I hope the boy recovers as he is the real hero of the village, not that Uchiha brat." Tenten left as Hinata approached the counter. A fox by the name of Maelstrom snacks on a fish cake as a pig, panda, and a dove sing songs of comfort, said Hinata as Jin handed her the bracelet. "You take care of that," said Jin, "and you take care of Naruto." Too Hinata knew that Naruto needed everyone as she thought to herself, "I need to tell him soon. Or it will be too late for him and me." Sakura arrived home and felt more tired than she did after her parents had talked to her about Naruto. "I'm going to lie down for a while," said Sakura as she heard her mother saying that dinner will be ready in a few hours. What Sakura didn't know was that 4 spirits were waiting for her in her dreams. After going into deep sleep, Sakura found herself on a familiar bridge that was surrounded by a heavy mist. "Hello," said Sakura as she reached for her weapon pouch, only to find that she was in the pajamas she changed into. Sakura then saw a silhouette through the mist approach her and she soon saw Haku wearing half of his hunter mask. "You're that hunter nin that worked for Zabuza," said Sakura, gaining a nod from Haku. "I am Haku," announced the hunter nin. "I and 3 other spirits are here to bring you to your epiphany, a sudden realization of truth." 3 shadows appeared in the mist before vanishing as Haku continued his speech. "All 4 of us represent a part of Naruto, past, present, and futures. I will show you the damage you have caused in the present." The scene soon changed to Naruto's hospital room, showing Naruto being bound to his bed as he and Inoishi were talking to one another. "Naruto. I'm so sore," cried Sakura as she went to hug the bound blonde, only to pass right through. "We are just phantoms in the background," said Haku as he punched Inoishi, only for his fist to pass through. "We cannot interact with the world around us. Now listen. I'm glad that you didn't fall back into lashing out at people, Naruto," said Inoishi after placing the file on the desk, especially when Sasuke visited. Naruto let out a sigh and said, "I'm sorry Yamanaka-san." Sakura saw the pained look on Naruto's face and thought of what her parents had told her. Sakura then saw what looked like piece of something broken on his face. "Those pieces are actually pieces of the mask he wears," said Haku as he held out his hand, causing many small fragments to form Naruto's smiling face in the form of a mask, "and because of your actions, Naruto's mask and soul are now broken." "Can you tell me about this Haku person?" asked Inoishi, hoping to get Naruto to open up. "Haku," said Naruto as a lone tear fell from his face, "was a lot like me. He was hated for what he couldn't control, having a Kekai Genkai. The 3rd Hokage told me about the bloodline purges that the Mizukage had ordered. Haku ended up losing his mother and then killing his father as he was the one responsible. After that, he was on the streets, just like I was, for a while until he met Zabuza." Naruto then told Inoishi that he had always wondered if Haku would have been friends with him if they had met earlier. "The damages you have caused is crippling," said Haku as the room vanished along with Naruto and Inoishi. "Naruto has been deeply hurt to the point of suicide." Sakura watched Haku slowly vanish into the darkness before someone familiar appeared, the 3rd Hokage. "Hello, Sakura," said the elderly man, "I am here to show you Naruto's past." Sakura felt a chill down her spine as she remembered what her parents had told her. The 3rd Hokage tapped the ground with his cane to show a much younger Naruto in a hospital room, hooked up to machines. Sakura looked at the clipboard and gasped in fear. Naruto had just recovered from having his stomach pumped from drinking an entire gallon of bleach. The door soon opened to show a nurse with a needle in her hand approach Naruto. "I don't see what you done to the Hokage, you fucking brat," said the nurse as she raised the needle into the air, "but your control over him will soon end." Sakura watched as the nurse had tried to kill Naruto in a hospital, but was relieved when the nurse's arm froze as Shikaku had trapped her with his shadow. "Let me go, you traitor," said the nurse as she struggled for control. "Can't you see that this demon is controlling the Hokage? I need to kill this fucking monster before he—" The nurse was unable to finish as a silver-haired Anbu member had ran her through with a tanto. "Another nurse taken down by ignorance," said the third as he walked into the room. "I'm going to dread the paperwork in the morning." Sakura looked at the two-third Hokages in wonder. "What you see before you is just fragments of the past," said the spirit of the third Hokage as put a hand through his past image. "Everything that you see has already happened. I have tried to protect him to the best I can, but even I had trouble myself with the council wanting to kill him and Danzo wanting to turn Naruto into a mindless weapon." Sakura couldn't hear a word as memories of Naruto's childhood flashed and echoed in her mind, every beating, every death threat, every suicide attempt. All of the glares. Sakura felt herself heave as nausea quickly won, only to see nothing. "Although what you see is real," said the spirit of the third Hokage, "you are still in your time asleep. I hope you had a bucket nearby and extra sheets." Sakura shook her head in hopes of defeating nausea, only to heave again as more memories flashed in her mind. Why the hell would the village do such things to Naruto? Sakura screamed in her mind as the last memory flashed through her mind, her birthday party. "I must be going now," said the spirit of the third Hokage as he and the hospital room vanished. "You still have two spirits left. And one of them will not show mercy." Sakura was grateful that the nausea from the memories gone, but she soon found herself in front of Ichiraku's. "Of all places to be thrown to," yelled Sakura as tears welled in her eyes, "it had to be this place." The sound of slurping echoed from the restaurant as a lone man with spiky blonde hair sat there eating the ramen. "Naruto?" asked Sakura as she approached the man. The man turned around to reveal not Naruto, but the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Sakura was dumbfounded as there before her was the very hero that sacrificed his life to save the village from the nine-tailed fox. "Hey Stinky," said Minato as he motioned Sakura to the stool next to him, "and before you argue, I'm not the one who puked and pissed themselves during their epiphany." Sakura sat next to the fourth Hokage and looked at him with both awe and fear. "May I ask what part of Naruto's life you represent?" asked Sakura as a bowl of ramen appeared before her. Minato gave the rosette a pair of chopsticks and motioned for her to eat the noodles. Sakura slurped up a few of the noodles and saw that she was at the gates of Konohagakure where Jiraiya was waiting for someone. "Uro-sennin," yelled a familiar voice as Sakura turned to see Naruto and Hinata approach the Toad Sage. "What kept ya, Gaki?" asked Jiraiya as a perverted grin appeared on his face. "If you're thinking what you are thinking," said Naruto as he had his hands in the seal for tiger with a kunai sticking out from the extended fingers, "then you will have more than 1,000 years of death to worry about." Jiraiya paled at that thought as Naruto turned to Hinata and grabbed her hands. "I know that I'll be going for a while," said Naruto leaning his forehead on Hinata's, "but we will always be together, Hinata-hime." Sakura couldn't help but smile as she watched Naruto and Hinata kiss. Hinata ended the kiss and said, "I will always love you forever, Naru-kun. I know that there will be some troubles along the road, but always remember this, I will always be with you and at your side." Hinata and Sakura watched Naruto and Jiraiya go off into the distance. Naruto was able to recover from his ordeal and discovered the one person who truly loved him, said Minato's voice as Sakura then saw something around Hinata's wrist. It was the bracelet Naruto got for Sakura on her birthday, as it had a few visible damages and the same trinkets. The only thing that was different was the pictures. Instead of photos of Team 7, it was pictures of Naruto and Hinata. "I guess Naruto will move on," thought Sakura as the scene then changed to show a sleeping figure in the Hokage's office. "Shizu," said Sakura as she thought of Tsunade until her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of doors being forced open. Tsunade jolted awake, causing the hat to fall off and reveal someone who looked like Minato. "Who?" said the figure as he soon rubbed the sleep out of his eyes to then see a little girl with blonde pigtails wearing an orange kimono and a young boy with spiky blue hair wearing a dark blue uniform. "Daddy's sleeping on the job again," cheered the little girl as a beautiful woman with lavender hair entered. Sakura took another look at the woman and saw that it was Hinata. The rosette then looked at the man and saw that it was Naruto. The children had whisker-like birthmarks on their cheeks as well as the Byakugan. Memories of a wedding and 2 childbirths flashed through Sakura's mind, learning that after the 4th Shinobi War, Naruto and Hinata had gotten married when it wasn't 3 years when they had Hisashi Hyuga Uzumaki and then Hikari Hyuga Uzumaki 5 years after. The paperwork has been holding me hostage and the only way out is to get through them, joked Naruto as Hikari jumped on his lap, but daddy will keep his promise and come out to the festival. After all, I did promise my 2 special girls as well as my son to go to the festival. Naruto got up and headed out the door, but not before summoning a shadow clone. I don't know why any of the other Hokages before me had never thought of having a shadow clone do all the paperwork, said Naruto as he and his family laughed as they left the office. Sakura was amazed at what had happened to Naruto after getting together with Hinata. Her thoughts were soon cut short as the scene changed to nothing but an empty void. "Hello," said a mysterious voice as it echoed through the void, "Sakura Haruno." Sakura had now seen the damage she has caused and Naruto's pain in the past. She will soon meet someone that would show her the results of what she had done. So that's it for today guys. If you like this story and want more then please subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Until then take care and goodbye.